doom and gloom. It is so thick, it is like the clouds that block out the sun. You know, a lot of people are under a lot of pressure. We've been talking about the pineal gland. That's really what all of this is about, to know thyself. Every religion on the world is taught it. It's a story that is written in the heavens, literally. And this great alchemical circle we are in, it is its purpose to bring us to the golden age. That alchemical secret of turning lead, Saturn, to gold, the sun. This is within you. Your crown chakra is lead. It must be turned to gold. Let's talk about that on an alchemical sense of what's going on this planet. The ultimate prima materia is carbon. Everything on this planet is a carbon-based life form. So we're all carbon. We're a stocking full of coal that hangs on the Christmas mantle. But guess what you get from coal? If you put it under enough pressure, you get a diamond. That clear stone. Did you know Cleopatra means clear stone? Petra, rock. That clear stone, Cleopatra. That's where we need to be. Now, it is my opinion that is exactly what the powers that be are doing. To bring us into this new age, we must release the old. So they put us under pressure. You have a group trying to further divide North and South America, putting them under pressure. One group wants it, one group bitches about it, and the other one the third group just don't give a damn. We're all going to get there one way or the other. Some by technique. It's been taught around the world, these great hermetic techniques and chemical. And now I'm sure they have technological means of popping the pineal gland. It's already in the heavens. It comes from above. It also comes within. It comes from above to within, not without. I watched a video once of someone that I was sure was fixing to pop their pineal gland. They were so stressed out. They were so distraught. They could not face what was going on in this world anymore. Very similar to what happened to me as a child. I did not want to be here. This place had no love in it, and I wanted out. And I flung myself prostrate on the ground, and boom, popped my pineal gland. And I gave up. And I meant it. I held on to nothing in this existence. And that was what I call, it happened to me naturally, just circumstances of my life. I would not go back and change those circumstances. It was God awful what happened to me and my siblings. And we all reacted in it in a different way. There were 5 of us, and I can go back and even today look at our lives and how each of us responded differently. Me, I wanted no part of it. I had a sister who just completely blocked it out. If the rest of us tried to talk to her about it, we were the ones that were crazy, 'cause that shit never happened. That's what she would say. It was her self-defense mechanism. She was running from it. You got to run straight at it. You can't run from it. You got to run to the destruction of your realities, your paradigms, what you think you believe, what you think you know. And you've got to get to that point where enough is enough. And that's where they are pushing us. And they're doing it intentionally, opposing one side to the other. Go to one side, you get doom. Go to the other side, you get gloom. So what are you going to do? Some people can just sit quietly and meditate and go within and find that peace. It happens to each of us differently. And I'm going to tell you this too. It'll happen on your deathbed. If you haven't popped it in your lifetime, that's when it will occur. Because there is no death. It is my opinion that those who are unable to pull themselves together, that's what reincarnation is. You keep coming back because you're still looking for yourself. You have to find yourself. We look for it in others. We look for it in things. We look for it in places. It's within. Don't you feel like half of you's missing? That there's something wrong? You've been disempowered? When you pop your third eye and your pineal gland, you see this in a whole different way. You don't see it as doom and gloom. You see it as the pressure that turns the coal into the clear stone, the diamond, that can take that carbon unit and put it under so much pressure that it becomes a precious stone. You know, in Lord of the Rings and all of this, they show us the ring. Guess where the diamond is? Guess where that stone is in that band? It is Aquarius. Fomalhaut is that stone the builders rejected. The builders, by the way, rule the matriarch. They're Freemasonry. The hierarchy knows about this, but the lower levels are never shared this information. As a matter of fact, I know Grand Master Masons that know nothing of this. My son was in the Shriners for 18 years. I was around 33rd degree Masons. They know nothing. And you can tell just by speaking with them. The words they choose, their attitudes. This is not someone who's popped his pineal gland. This is someone who has been hermetically initiated, but they were only given one side, the matriarch. You have to pull the two together. And each side, the matriarch and the patriarch, both have two ways. The patriarch, fire and air. The matriarch, water and earth. This is going to happen for everybody. It's always darkest before the dawn. Boom! The sun comes out inside your mind. And you begin walking in a kingdom, in a world that's all around you right now. When you die and come out of the body, your soul is about 6 feet above your body. Why does that happen? Because we're in the same space, but a different frequency. There is so much going on around you right now that your eyes cannot see. Some of the animals can see it. You know, you can look and find yourself above, and you can find yourself within. The great masters, what they call the ascended ones, the ascended one that you meet is your higher self that's already been through this, because we were divided. Eve was removed from Adam. He was androgynous. Or it was androgynous. It became a he and a separate she. It was androgynous. That pineal gland. That diamond on the ring. That fomalhaut in the heavens on that zodiac. I have, over the years, I knew there was a diamond. As a matter of fact, ironically enough, the diamond doesn't, they have shifted the stones so many times, you don't know what belongs where. The tropical zodiac being off by 23.5 degrees, that was given to us by the builders, because the temple of Luxor in Egypt is 23.5 degrees off east-west. They consider it the old equator, when the Sphinx is pointing dead east. So you got to take a look at the information that you're given. And you got to decide who's giving you this information and what is the other side. And then find the balance between them two. Between the two. It's shutting that feminine eye, shutting that masculine eye, and finding that androgynous one in the middle. It's neither doom or gloom. It's a bloom. It's a lotus flower. Bloom. They just scribble the words. And they keep scribbling. Will you look for it? Can you find it? A lot of you, I've done your damn homework for you. Everybody, I've done the homework. All you got to do is go take the test. I've already given you all the answers. Now it's time for testing. And indeed, that's what's coming up. Let's talk a little bit about this Saturn retrograde. It's more than you think. And I look at it in a beneficial way that we're getting more time. Saturn is about time. So when he goes retrograde in a sign, it's merciful because he's giving us more time. It's also karma. Past karma comes up when you talk about retrogrades. Going into the past. That past karma you'll be dealing with now. Why is this happening to me? For your own damn good. All things work to the good for those that love him. That for those that have love within. We've all been given a bag of coals, a stocking of coals. What are we going to do with them? We can throw them in the fire and stay warm for just a little while. We can leave them in the stocking and do nothing with them. We can take them and put them under pressure. We are that coal. Everything on this planet is made based on the carbon unit. Everything. There are some silica-based life forms, but those are what you call artificial. They're not, it's a different type of life form. But everything that naturally occurs on this planet, nature being God, nature is the alchemist, nature in that magic circle are here to help us. They throw us into fears in the lower chakras, and that's the only way they can rule us. Because if you move into the upper chakras and you pop your pineal gland, or you don't even have to do that. Just turn off the lower chakras. Immediately, the first chakra to turn off is Mars at the bottom. Action, reaction. In Merlin, the story of Merlin, he's having to fight the old ways. They're trying to bring back the old gods, Cthulhu. And how do you fight them? You ignore them. You turn your back on them. You don't empower them. You walk, just same thing as walking out of the church. Walk away from the television. It's only given to you by one side. And you actually need pressure from both sides. You need the doom and the gloom to get the bloom. Then there'll be plenty of room in that upper mansion, that upper house. It's something that we all come here to do. If I came here to do anything, it's because I wanted to be with all of you. We were all there, now we're all here. There, we couldn't touch each other. But I'm going to tell you what, we loved each other there. Here, we hate one another. We find faults in one another. Everybody has a seed to grow. Some of that seed, we are told, falls on good ground. Some of it falls on stony ground. Some the birds take away. Oh, those are really the good ones. Because when a bird eats a seed and he shits it out, it's automatically fertilized. And it will frickin' grow. And that's how nature works. Nature's talking to you constantly. And I love this because for almost 2 years, I was talking, or Sarah was talking to me. And I finally know now. It is the earth. That's her name. It comes from the word in the Middle East, and it's Sahara. Her name is Sahara. I just say Sarah. It is Sahara. But she is only the matriarch. That's only part. The elements are divided. God, the God in heaven above, and our mother below. Our father and our mother. And Saturn, Saturn's wife was named Rhea. To me, that would be Sarah. It's the knowledge of Rhea. The Saraya. Rhea is where we get the word reason from. Reasoning, which they've attributed to Mercury. All of this great knowledge going on, but once you start reading it, even the planets and astrology, you keep asking yourself, where's the Earth in all of this? We count all the others. She's in the center. She's in the middle of the circle. We stand on her. She's in the middle of the circle. She's the one becoming. I have flat earthers, hollow earthers, round earthers. They all come to my channel and want to throw their opinion on me. And I've stated this before. The oldest creation story on this planet says that we live inside the eye of a blue-eyed giant. In that, you get round Earth. The Earth is an eyeball. You get flat Earth. We live on the iris, and it's domed. You get hollow Earth, the pupil that goes inside the eye. I think the Earth is the pineal gland of all of this. She's in the middle. She's in the middle. They say there's another great tale among the wise bards of old, that the Earth will become a sun or a star, which is a stone. So is the pineal gland. As above, so below. As we move into Aquarius, and that upper pineal gland in the heavens connecting with the lower pineal gland, the father above, the mother below, becoming one. and we all come from it. It is my opinion that I stated when I was very young. What are we here? I can tell you what it was. I can tell you where I came from and how I got where I came from and why I was where I came from. We all began as a thought in the mind of what you would call God. Some say God is dreaming. I think we're the ones dreaming. Doom told us the sleeper must awaken. When the Muad'Dib in Dune kept seeing the girl, he found himself. He drank the water of life, and it was blue. They show us this blue water in Jupiter Rising. Milk and honey pour from the pineal gland, but we come from this blue place. There's something about thought that is electrical, and if you've ever noticed electricity, it is blue and white. When after the last golden age, when Jupiter, Mars, Venus, the Sun, and the Moon decided they were going to rule everything, and we fell from that into the lower chakras of the body. We lost it. We lost what we had in the beginning. But we're getting that back. Freemasonry, to identify one another, they call themselves travelers. If they're suspicious of someone they met being a Freemason, they would simply say, "Are you a traveling man?" "Why, yes, I'm a traveling man. I've traveled from the east to the west and the west to the east." And they then go through this other little spiel. You can hear that in Rudyard Kipling's The Man Who Would Be King with Sean Connery. But look not for earthly kings. This is going to be something very, very different. What's coming, we are called the body. And indeed, we are the body. The other planets make up the body, while Saturn sits at the top with Mercury and Venus. The Sun in the solar plexus divides. He rules from the solar plexus down, fire and water, with the Moon over Jupiter and Mars. Unfortunately, Jupiter ruling really the belly. He's like the pit. That's why you get an expanded waistline. And Mercury, the mouth, are connected on the mutable cross. You got to go through Mercury, the mouth. The mouth all the way to the anal is the bottomless pit. You can just keep shoving stuff in it, and it's never full. Jupiter wants more, more, more. Expansion, expansion, expansion. Me, when I popped my pineal gland, I was already being starved to death. I wasn't far away. We were never fed breakfast. We got a crappy little school lunch, and really poverty-stricken Mississippi, so there wasn't much to that either. Not that I would eat anyway. And I was sent home from the table every night. I was sent to bed. I wasn't allowed to eat. I was terrified. I would knock something over, get screamed at, hollered at, and get sent anyway, and it just happened. I was so clumsy, and I was punished for it. So my way out was starvation. I don't want no more food. I'm not ever eating again. It was the only way I knew to get out, was to starve the body. My mother had told me, "You have to eat that," about the starving boat people coming over here, and that I was ungrateful. But it pushed me. it put so much pressure on me that I couldn't take it anymore. I wouldn't. I just no. No means no, means no, means no. And even when he told me I had to come back, it was no. No questioning, I ain't going back there. Oh, yes, I was. Because he hit me the one place he knew it would affect me. My heart. My Venus. There's nothing, Mercury, he could have said to me unless he went through my heart to do it. There's no food he could have given me, nothing materialistic, no Jupiter, no Mars, no Sun, no Moon, none of that. He couldn't have offered me anything from the matriarch or the patriarch that I would have accepted. And I would have never done it for myself. But he told me there are others suffering the same thing you are. If you care so little for your life, then why not give it for a cause? The greatest thing a man can do in his life is to lay down his life for a friend. That's where you find yourself. Use those upper chakras. There are techniques. Somebody asked me, can you show us in your birth chart when this happened to you? I can show you the approximate time, but that wouldn't affect you at all because it's my birth chart. It's how it's the angles that it affected me. All of my planets are in Capricorn and Aquarius, except for Jupiter and Mercury are on the mutable cross. And Pluto in fire at the bottom. Pluto's going to be in my own house here soon. Then I'll really know it. But I'm just here to share. I'm here to do what I contracted to do. And that was stay for others who are suffering the same thing I did. And that was abuse, neglect, being separated from yourself. And it ain't easy when you pull yourself together because others start pushing you away. My family 100% rejected me after I popped my pineal gland. It was bad enough to begin with. I was already rejected by my mother. But then it became everybody but my father. And my mother pushed him away overseas. And it just got worse and worse. And I still tried to leave. I wanted out of here. I'd got to the point by the time I was a teenager that I didn't give a damn about the rest of them. I didn't. In my opinion, especially those in my family, they were not worth saving. They didn't deserve it. That's how I felt about it. Why give them anything? Look at these evil pieces of shit, just like these people that rule this world today. I had no mercy for them. No grace. No forgiveness. I was in error. I let myself react. I brought my Mars right back into it. And it cost me. And again, I tried to commit suicide. I wanted out. So he let me out for a little while, and he threw me in the darkness. I knew what it was about. I knew what it was all about. We know everything before we get here. It is my opinion. I'm what you call a walk-in, I guess. To me, in my opinion, this is the way it happens for everybody. But I have to state it's my opinion because there are other schools of thought on this. But we all come here the same way. We come from the mind of God. We are a thought that has been in existence since the foundation of the frickin' world, of the earth, of existence itself, of thought itself. But when he speaks that let there be, then we are. We manifest here. I have pushed my Mars and Jupiter away. The time comes when they all must come together. Not the two become one, but the seven. The seven are one, and they are within me, and they are above me, and they're within you, around me. When I'm dealing with people, I try to assess them really quick. Where are they coming from? Are they coming from Jupiter? Are they coming from Mars? Are they coming from Venus? Or what are they doing? What emotions, what chakras are they invoking to communicate with me? Are they trying to dominate over me? Are they just trying to share with me? You can assess that. And I've had many, I'm telling you, I'm getting hit right now. These last few videos, I'm getting some ugly emails and comments to the point I had to literally block a few people. It was getting out of hand. The evangelicals showed up, I guess to exorcise a damn demon out of me. I don't believe in evangelicalism. The teacher's not supposed to run out and beat them over the head with the knowledge. You just set a table. If y'all want to come eat, eat. I don't force you to come to my channel. I don't advertise. I don't tag. I know the spirit moves. The spirit is attached to the age of air. In Greek, the word air sign, we're given this word heaven in the Bible that means air sign. We use the word air sign, but the Greeks used another word, and it was called pneumatic. It starts with a P. It's pneumatic. And it can be translated and is translated spirit. That right now we're running on automatic. We're all blind. We've all been programmed. And we just automatically get up in the morning when the alarm goes off and go to the grindstone. Go slay the dragon. Pay the piper. We're paying the wrong piper. We're singing to the wrong song. Bring the doom and the gloom together and get your bloom. They're feeding you. When you say somebody's feeding you bullshit, that comes from the matriarch. Because it's the sign of the bull, earth. Earth and water, matriarch. Set you on fire, patriarch. Fire you up, patriarch. Think about this. When you're fired up, patriarch, you need the water of the matriarch. Pull them together. Cool that fire down. You've got that battle of fire and ice going on within you. Pull yourself together. Take your zodiac and fold it in half, right between Capricorn and Aquarius and Leo and Cancer. Lay the moon over the sun and watch the sun eclipse, and watch your calzone light up into a rainbow. We've been given a piece of the pie. It's the pie in the sky. It's also the pie within. When we pray, we bring our right hand and our left hand together. I've done this video. 11:55:11 is the name of the video, and you'll find it in Inside 33 archive. And it's amazing what occurs when you put your hands together. If you count your fingers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in order, from left to right or right to left. And when you put them together, the fingers that are together always add up to 11, with 55 in the middle. And that ends up 11/11/55 is 77. Jackpot. People don't, the Bibble babble, these evangelicals that have been harassing me for the past 3 or 4 days now. And I literally had to just block them off my channel. It was getting vicious. I was even condemned into hell, the servant of Satan, and they don't have a clue that going in that building, you are serving the God of this age, which is Satan. The Lamb told you so. The Lamb looked Peter straight in the eye and said, Satan, get thee behind me. And indeed he is behind him in the age of Pisces. And his name is Jupiter. And he's really the one that began all of this. We're the illuminated ones. They don't want everybody else to be illuminated. They will either keep you in doom and gloom, in his house or her house. And it's supposed to be our house. In the word you, let's go there. In the word you, let's look at it symbolically. You have the man and you have the woman. And then you have them together. You. The Y used to be the J. Before that was the J now. It used to be the Y. But in the beginning, it was just I. Adam. A single I. You got to pull yourself together. The man and the woman, and become the real you. What did I say it was? The double you. Language taught me this. In the old languages, there was no, the U was written like this, and it said you, Jupiter, with this symbol. Now we say Jupiter, the masculine. When Jupiter has a masculine and a feminine side, Mars has a masculine and feminine side, Venus has a masculine and feminine side, Mercury has a masculine and feminine side. They're all ruled over by the masculine and feminine sun and the moon. Saturn has a masculine and a feminine side. Aquarius, Capricorn, but he rules as one age. His age is not divided like the rest of them. He's whole. He is one. North and South America. I feel sorry for the people in South America for what they're going through. Venezuela, Guatemala, Peru, Chile, Argentina, everywhere. It's horrendous what the matriarch and the patriarch are doing down there and the pressure they're putting those people under. But as Aquarius, they are the body. As North America, that is the head, they must become one, popping that pineal gland. Better watch that second eclipse. Y'all still ain't understanding what I'm telling you about these two eclipses. I'm even having astrologers argue with me that understand nothing about hermetics and alchemy. They're just regurgitating birds that have eaten from the books of tradition and spit it back out at you. And they're coming on my channel trying to correct me. I don't give out information that I don't show you where I'm getting it from. Explain to you why it's this way. Show it to you. They have no such resources other than this book says that. Well, the Bible says a lot too. Can you read it? It drives me bonkers. I just shut it down. I'm not going there. You're not pulling me to the left. You're not pulling me to the right. I'm not going in the patriarch's house. I'm not going in the matriarch's house. I'm not going with doom or gloom. I'm going to sit right here and bloom in the desert. I know exactly why I am here. The Valley of the Shadow of Death, Death Valley. Kingsman, Arizona. It's Kingsman, AZ, Alpha, Omega, first and the last. The Aleph and the Tau. I'm the Patriarch, the Aleph, the first A. It's a symbol. And I'm the Tau. I'm the man on the cross. I'm the Alpha. I'm the man on the cross. Go find your others. Get out of the doom. Get out of the gloom. Eventually, if you, in a way, like I said, I feel sorry for the people of the world, and especially in South America right now, and in the Middle East. This pressure is being put on them. It's being put on all of us to turn our coal into a diamond. It's getting really dark, but I promise you, the sun comes, the real sun. Not the one we see, not the gloom sun or the doom sun. The temple of doom. It backwards, that's just a mood. Doom is just a mood you're in. It can make you diamond or break you. This world broke me. I threw it off. I threw myself prostrate on the ground. It was grief. I was grieved. I couldn't take it anymore. I don't wish anybody having to go through the method I did to get there. But I'm glad it happened to me. I'm glad I'm here to share it with you. That everything's going to be all right. It really, really will. Eventually, no matter how many reincarnations, eventually everybody will pull themselves together. Because it's already written in the stars. That's what this alchemical circle is about. Nothing is wasted. Nothing. It just feeds, the earth feeds back into herself. She is becoming. She is Sahara. She's Rhea. Sa meaning wisdom. She's the wisdom of reason, Sahara. The sands of time. And it just cycles over and over again. It takes billions of years to do this. Maurice Cottrell done Secrets of the Super Gods. What a fascinating watch that is. I've watched it about 5 times. I'll probably watch it again very soon. In it, he talks about the sun. And he was doing it at a time that we didn't have computers readily available to us like we do now. So he went to someone who dealt and had access to these computers and asked them to calculate how long it would take for everything to go back around and be back in the same position. Mark a position, how many times does the sun have to go around to where everything is lined up back at that position? And it was, I forget the number, but it was huge. But that's just one day. That's just one cycle to bring it all back around. One cycle. We fell down into materialism. We are coming out. A great cycle is fixing to complete. The Native Americans call it the Fifth Age. It is the Fifth Age after the destruction of Babylon, the original pre-Diluvian world empire. The New Age is going to be about collective and the whole, but it's based on individualism, which is exactly how I explained where we come from. We are this great collective, but we're all uniquely individual. In the Bible, it tells us that in heaven there is no marrying or giving in marriage. because we're whole. We don't need to find ourselves. Me becomes we, and it is me. Me is we. If you're watching something and it evokes fear or anger in you, it's pushing you to the lower chakras. And unfortunately, what the media does and what the church does, what the patriarch and the matriarch are both doing, what they're both doing, is making you afraid of the other. They're both playing on your emotions. The people in the church don't want to hear the truth. No, 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 you have a demon. I'm the daughter of Satan. I have a demon. I'm possessed. Well, there goes you some channeling. The words seance and science are the same word. Science came from having seances, which are the spirits channeling those energies, spinning those chakras and channeling those energies so that we can communicate with another world that's all around us right here, right now. Always has been. When you die, you see it. Everybody else is there waiting. It's on levels. There are levels below us, and there are levels above us. When we shed off flesh, and we are just spirit, we see the level above or the level below, depending on where you're at. I've been in part of a near-death experience research program that's been going on for almost 3 decades now. And it is done with people from all over the world. I started in it very young. And they bring children in because children remember and they're not tainted with the programming. And it appears that when you die, whatever you believe in your life is exactly what happens to you. I know when I read in the Bible that heaven, we would all be sitting before the throne of God, waving palm trees, singing hallelujah all day long. That doesn't sound very exciting to me. That's not what I see as my future in existence. And the alchemical circle proved it to me. I always knew, give me the chance to be a creator, and I wouldn't create a world like this one. That's what I said. Now I laugh about this statement because it's exactly the kind of world I would create. Because that's what it takes to get the diamond out of the rough. Every one of you have a diamond in you. Every one of you have all of these stones in you. All of them. But one of them is hidden. It's a pearl of great price. I want to talk about channeling real quick and about what you call the grays, or these little gray aliens. Moses' staff came from an almond tree. The pineal gland is shaped like an almond, like the almond eyes. The almond eyes. That's exactly what the pineal gland looks like. When Aleister Crowley channeled lamb, he channeled the lamb. Look what he said. Look what the lamb said. Not what Crowley said, what the lamb said. Do no harm. There's one law. Love. Do what thou wilt. Love above the law. There is no law. There are no statutes. There are no limitations. There's your Saturn retrograde. No limitations. Saturn's about restrictions and limitations. During this retrograde, those walls come down. And those in authority that have power start to abuse the weak. They take advantage of them. Saturn's restrictions are down. So Mars and even Mercury, commerce, they come in. Because Saturn retrograde, those who have authority over you take advantage of you for their own personal pleasures and financial gains to benefit themselves. And that's what the hierarchy's doing right now. They don't care about the damn people. They're fighting for their self. And when you watch it, you become emotionally involved. The Matrix is right that you are a battery. Our bodies are battery. We are something electric. And that comes from Saturn. You can't touch electricity. It can touch you. You really can't see it except for the light that it emanates. They want to attribute that to Jupiter. Let me tell you something about the symbol of the lightning bolt in symbology. It means forced initiation. They use it in the Teletubbies. They initiate our children in just like Henson did. Jim Henson is probably my biggest freaking hero because he told us everything. All Sesame Street is about. He told us everything. He did the first Cube. The first Cube movie was done back in the 70s, and Jim Henson did it. He did the Dark Crystal, showing us that there's actually a time in the heavens that we can pull ourselves together. Saturn-Jupiter conjunctions set the stage for the next 20 years of your life. So look at these Saturn-Jupiter conjunctions. It's going to happen for me in my first house. So I'm getting ready now. I want to be able to go within then, to pull myself together, because I'm still in the flesh and spirit. I'm still divided. I've popped my pineal gland, but I'm still affected by all of the planets. I'm no different than anybody else. The only difference between me and most people is one I remember before I was born. I have popped my pineal gland. And the third thing, I did my damn homework. And it takes a lot to convince me. I don't buy into anything. I had to look high and low and put these pieces together of this puzzle. And I have enough of the pieces now that I can see the big picture. I know exactly what's going on. The pressure that's being put on peoples all over the world. They wrote about it, Albert Pike wrote about it in Morals and Dogma. We are coming to a time of peace after this third great war of the people. And it's a war for our hearts and our minds. And we're being pulled in two different directions. When we need to take the different directions, turn them in on themselves, and start running at the problem. You stand up and say, no more. This stops now. And you stand and you don't move till you bloom. A lot of you who, the best way I can teach it to you is the same way it was taught to me. And that's as a little child. Go to the cartoons and watch them. Do you have a clue what your kids are watching? It's all symbolic. Take your little charts of symbology I gave you. Remember the words I've said. And go look at what's being represented in your cartoons. They are pulling us together. It looks like they're separating us. But there's a point when you can't push that coal anymore. And it becomes that immovable stone, that diamond that can cut through anything. It's the stone made without hands. It's the philosopher's stone. Philosophy is in the mind. We'll have to start breaking down some more words. The words that are within words. because everything has either been added or divided. So we need to subtract and multiply. Nobody has all of the truth. Osiris's body was broken up and spread around the world. In the land of Egypt, we find pyramids. In the Old Testament, when you talk about the temple that Solomon built, or even the tabernacle in the wilderness, it was a rectangle. In Central America, the Toltec, these great sphere balls everywhere. Everybody was given a piece of the information. Everybody got a piece of it, and a geometric shape that went with it. But when you bring them all together, all of them together, you can look at the architecture and the motifs of the architecture around the world, and you know exactly what age it was built in, like the man carrying the pitcher of water, the water bag, the wine skin. Yep. And guess what Columbus found when he got over here? He found the man with the feathers that carried the water bag. The bucket. And they have a hole in their bucket. Their bucket leaks. Jack and Jill falls back down the hill. All of these rhymes were left for a reason. And I love that Rhea, the wife of Saturn, is reason. And it would just thrill me to death to be correct that we live on an eyeball Earth and that it is the third eye, but it's closed. And she is waking up. And on the other side, it will be he's waking up. When the two become one. Androgyny. And in the next stage, it's like I said, in heaven, the angels neither marry nor given in marriage. There's no need to. You have your whole self. You are androgynous within. Some make androgynous without, because they know inside they're supposed to be, and they don't know how, so they manifest it on the outside. When the inside becomes like the outside, when the outside becomes like the inside, when the two become one. I love doing a chart where you see the sun and the moon in the first house, because those people are authentic. What you see is what you get. They're the same on the inside as the outside. The greatest tragedy on this whole planet is the loss of our innocence. That's what hurts the most. But it's pain. Physical pain, mental pain. Stress can pop your pineal gland. Some people have aneurysms. The stress is so bad. Everybody needs to watch the movie Pi. Again, not the one about the guy in the boat. It's a black and white movie, and it's about the number pi, 3.14159. That pressure, that intense stress that pushes you to pop the pineal gland. And then you don't stress anymore. You find a beauty in this world that can only be seen with those eyes. I've met several people in my life that were outright atheists. So I convinced them, simply just ask. That's all you got to do. You don't even have to believe. Just ask. And several months later, I had one of them come to me just in tears. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. He was in a very stressed out situation, going through a divorce, all kind of problems. problems at work, problems at home. Nothing in his life was going right. And he was at that point. He was fixing to snap. He was fixing to pop. And he did. And he sat out in his backyard, weeping his eyes out, and asked if all of that I had told him was true, that he saw a butterfly flying across the yard, and he held up his finger, and he said, if all of that is real, sit on my finger. And he was talking to the butterfly, and the butterfly came. And then, pow, he popped his freaking pineal gland. And he walked around for a week. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He was so overjoyed. The trees were alive talking to him. Everything, you see this, when it happens to you, for a while, you see this light that just emanates off of everything. But that light can be turned off in a second. It's done with fear. Adrenaline and fear are the mind killer and throws you back into the flesh. You can't be afraid doing this. You can have righteous indignation, call it hate if you want, all you want, but you got to run at it. You got to get to the point where you say, no more. I'm done here. And just pop. Go ahead and snap. I had a tree I used to go scream at, talk to. I didn't have anybody. So I bonded with this beautiful tree that was dying too. And we found each other and how to heal one another. And I would scream and let it out. I would snap. But I wouldn't snap on my fellow man. I wanted to. There's people that I just wanted to pinch their head off. Now I'm not going to stress out over it. I'm pulling myself together, but I'm blocking you. Go find yourself. And then you can come back to my channel. I have people I've thrown off my channel that have begged their way back on. That can be a handful. But their hearts are in the right place and they're good people. So, doom or gloom are your third option. Go bloom. Be a lily of the valley. Be the lotus. Be whatever flower is your favorite. Whatever one you like the most. Generally what they give us, I dislike. I'm into magnolias and sunflowers. Because that's what my grandmothers called me when I was little. One called me Miss Magnolia and one called me Miss Sunflower. Or my sunflower. Miss Magnolia and my sunflower is what they would call me. I was born in Sunflower County in the state of the Mississippi state flower is the magnolia, state tree. And my grandmother had this huge magnolia tree in her front yard, and I would go hide in it. And the magnolia is a very interesting tree because in it, it also has a cone. And when you pull back the shuck or the hull from that cone, you find the seeds, and it looks like a freaking pine cone, and they're red. But here's an interesting thing about magnolias. They only bloom when it thunders.